your sticks and stones. You throw them my way to make a point, but I don't have hollow bones, so you'll never take away my voice. You used to be like home, but now the whole place is so destroyed, and I'll survive on my own. I'm stronger than when I started, even through all the times I hit the ground. I'm stronger than what you wanted, even through all the times you burned me down. I'll keep rising from the dust. You used to always say words that were laced with poison love, and you thought I'd always stay. Guess it turns out push came to shove, we'll never be the same. You take the dig, I take the jump. I finally found my way. I'm stronger than when I started, even through all the times I hit the ground. I'm stronger than what you want.
Welcome in, everybody, to week 2 of the Blue Otter League's Diamond League. And let me tell you something, we have a hell of a matchup on slate for you tonight. It is Team Lotus versus VBU Infusion, two of the top teams in the league. My name is Yanni. I'm joined by my co-caster, VBU Infusion hater. It's TDS. Okay, he's not really a hater.
I will stick by the hater thing if they lose, so let's go with that. But yeah, it's going to be a matchup between two top teams. I feel like people have them either first, second, or third in their rankings, if I'm not wrong. So this is going to be maybe a preview of playoffs potential teams. This is going to be exciting. This is going to be interesting, and I think Lotus will take it. I'm calling it already since the start.
Ooh, that's
Yeah,
spicy.
I
All
work for
right.
Lotus, so I'm just saying it.
Yeah, he's not really a VBU hater. It's just that he ranked VBU lower than I did in the power rankings. I had them at number 3, and he had them at number 4. So, gotta call him a hater for that. And we are ripping through these picks and bans as Infusion has gotten rid of Jinx, Karma, Gwen, and on the other side, Lotus, they've taken out Aurelian, Soul, Yorick, and Soraka. VBU has gone with Ophelia Xin Zhao as their first 2 picks, as Lotus did manage to first pick their Jin. So the draft shaping up after Lee Sinlock in TDS. What are you thinking so far?
I'm honestly so intrigued and surprised by Jin as the first pick of the overall draft. At least in coming in later after the Xinjiao, I think makes a little bit of sense. I think a lot of players like to play Lee Sin into Xinjiao sometimes. And with the Q, you do have fighting power potentially before the level 6. And after level 6, even there's chances for you to go into it. But right now, I kind of feel a little bit scared for the early game prowess potential from Lotus that may just be what they ride on instead of going into a much more balanced out composition because Gina and Lee Sin spike between the mid early and the mid game, and then they fall off compared to the Aphelios and the Xin Zhao. So it's kind of scary for them if they are not able to ride the wave with that. The surfing to kind of run out, not a bad option, but we need to see if it's going to be a flex pick or if it's going to be a support pick. Ooh, Cillian.
Yeah, lots of things going on here. Lotus, obviously, with that
Yeah.
first pick, Jin. They had a in their win last week over MSU. They won 2-1. Alistair on Jin was pretty strong, so it looks like they're riding the wave of confidence. Something to note, though, that Lotus did not do. Lotus did not ban Zillion in this game. Obviously, as you
Yep.
see, it's picked here. Looks like it's going to go mid for Night Saw. Zillion was banned all 3 games last week when VBU played against who did they play against last week? I can't remember all of a sudden. They played against WLS.
Yeah.
Love Solbert. So they decided that hey, Zillion was way too strong. We don't want to deal with this thing. And meanwhile, Lotus has said, "Go ahead, pick it. We don't care."
They either have a plan or simply don't believe that it's a good enough pick. Like those are the two options that I can see with not banning Cillian because, like you're pointing out, the Cillian getting banned away last week was something really important because it led to another point that you did wrote up on the pre-match note that Jenny did, which was really useful, and was the Victor. And the Victor is
Mhm.
something that went through in the pick ban phase, and it's completely it may be a pick that Lotus goes for, but we were expecting to be much more attention on the Victor and neither of the champions were really focused in the ban phase. Instead, the Cillian goes in. Maybe they think that Victor can go really well against the Cillian and he will have a lot of priority. So that's why they are leaving it open. But I kind of feel like you have to take away these kind of niche champions because if you don't really, if you cannot really punish it in the mid lane, then it may scale into something that you really don't want to play against.
Especially, you don't really want to play against a Zillion ultimate at all. That
Yeah.
is quite literally one of the worst ultimates to ever play against. But taking a look at the second half of the ban phase, it's Yone and Corky banned for Infusion. Thresh, Trinamir gone. Lotus taking those away. Tom Kench was VBU's first pick, and let me tell you, Signifies Tom Kench is an absolute nuisance. Giving that one over, pretty scary. But Lotus, they got what they want. They decided they want the Victor Zillion matchup.
Yeah, this is what they were willing to go for when not taking away the Cillian, so they instead opt for the Victor. And it's not like Lotus cannot play Victor. Like we have talked about Babs. He has a really nice win rate with the Victor, so it makes sense that he goes for it. And now as a remaining for the top lane pick, oh, okay,
Yeah, so
uh,
this is pretty interesting. So
it's blind.
yeah, there's a new top laner this week for Lotus. It is 3 losing
Okay,
lanes.
yeah,
Accelerate, not able to make it tonight, and 3 losing lanes plays Garen. That's the extent of the champion pool that I know, and I'm not quite sure it fits into this composition well.
I think Garen hardly fits into almost any composition, so it would be fake to say that he fits here. I can see kind of the value with Seraphine because you as Garen just run in and get buffed by Seraphine and use the anchor to kind of play around him. He can deal good enough damage as well if you're able to get into the backline, but taking him blindly, I feel like it's such a risk because if he gets countered, he's done, and if he loses lane, he's completely out of the game. Like that's it for Garen. So this is such a interesting situation for Trees losing lane, and I just feel like you're pointing out this composition with the Garen added on top of it, like it feels a little bit confusing to say the least. Like I don't find good enough balance between some of the champions, and I feel like come mid and late game, the scaling from BBU Infusion is going to be much much more than Lotus can handle.
Yeah, and really, VBU, they got their dream composition.
Yeah,
Aphelios was banned in all 3 games last week. They did not allow Tiny Asian Boy to play it. First pick Aphelios falling right into your lap, the Zillion falling right into your lap. You've got the Tom Kench's extra protection. This is a 2-threat comp with plenty of protection.
yeah. Like we were talking about how the Cillian ultimate is something that you don't want to play against. You add on top of that the Tam Kench Devour to just protect these Aphelios, and Aphelios it should realistically be untouchable. The only way that I can see them getting on top of him is if Lee Sin is able to get a kick, an insect kick, or if they are so all over the place that the Aphelios is left alone and he dies. But when you look at BBU's infusion composition, they feel much more cohesive. There seems to be a good balance. They can play front to back, but they can also play 4 against 5 in the sense that they don't need to have the Jax there. He can just keep on split pushing, and you have the other 4 members holding down the fort alone by themselves, and they can do that perfectly with this kind of composition.
However, to me, it seems like Lotus has gone with a solo queue-esque team composition
Yeah.
with a little bit of late game insurance and a strong early game force. But on the other side, in Fusion, this looks like a composition that you would see at the higher levels of, semi-pro and amateur play.
Yeah, it's well balanced out. I really like what they thought out here, and utilizing I feel like the timings correctly for some of the picks because they went for the good counter for the good pick in the Cillian, which was still potentially a flex in the timing that it came through, and then with the extra bans that you went in for, you kind of force the Lotus onto the Victor because you're binding away both Corki and Yone, which are champions that Babs likes to play. So kind of forcing him into the victor in a sense, even though Lotus may have opted into the victor. BBU Infusion kind of forced them into the victor as well. And then you pick the Tam Kench to have extra security, and then the Jax to have the counter pick matchup in the top lane for your top lane that can perform really well if he's allowed to go for his picks. So overall, really nice draft sequence, really nice way of preparing for the game, and I really like the composition that they have drafted for themselves already.
Yeah, and this is just exactly what the doctor ordered in this bot lane. We think that this is going to be the matchup to watch. I think these are two of the greatest bot lanes that we have in the Blue Otter League right now
Yep.
between Alistair and Dunzy and Tiny Asian Boy and Signify. And it looks like Tiny Asian Boy and Signify, they have exactly what they want. On the other side, sure, you have the first pick Jin from Lotus, but the Seraphine could raise some questions out of Dunzy, especially with them being pretty much the only engage. It's going to be on them to really win this game for Lotus.
It's on Donzi and Lizzie. Like
Yeah,
that
that's not good.
that's their best bet on engaging. That or BBU just goes haywire, decides to ram their face into a wall, and they end up losing because of that. Like that's the 3 ways that I can see them engaging a fight, and it's like you're pointing out, not ideal. But we did credit Dunsey for their enchanter play last week.
Mhm.
So Seraphine does fit the bill into that. And one thing that I do think they will have with this is control over the bot side, which if you as Jin and Seraphine are able to control the bot side, you allow now Lee to try and invade into Xinjiao, try and put pressure into the Xinjiao, and try and put him behind. And if that's the case, I can kind of see the idea, but I'm scared for whatever happens later on in the game because just betting on early game dominance is not the most ideal way of winning nowadays.
Right now, one question that I do have: so, how does Lotus win this game?
Aggression. I just feel like that's the name of the game for them. Aggression, early aggression for either bot lane through dominating the lane, getting early objectives, and trying to shut down the Xinjiao really early on, or you leave bot lane and you prioritize destroying these Jax. Because if Garen is ahead, you can kind of maneuver around the side lane, and Jax will take a little bit longer to scale. Garen with a winning game can try and put pressure on some members, and his true damage is something that you can play around as well against the Aphelios and the Tam Kench.
Seems
But that's about it.
Yeah, seems like a very narrow path of victory. And on the other side, VBU, what do they have to do? It seems like they just have to play the composition well, right? Like
They,
there's
they,
nothing
they
more to
just
say.
Yeah, they just need to be equal in gold at 15 or 25, at like in around 15 to 20, 25 minutes. They just need to be equal in gold, and they should be fine.
Alrighty, well, we will see if these teams are going to be able to execute their compositions well. We are going to kick it to a short break because we are in the spectator delay, but do not go anywhere because when we come back, we've got two Titans going at it tonight between Lotus and VBU Infusion, and you don't want to miss game one. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being patient while we got rid of that pesky spectator delay. But we are on the rift for game 1 of the second week of the Blue Otter League. Diamond League is Lotus versus VBU Infusion. Both of these teams 1-0, but not for long.
Yeah, one is going to lose. One is going to cry themselves to sleep this night because they lost today. The other one is going to have a party, maybe. That.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, with a draft out of Infusions, you're already partying.
Yeah, essentially. Although to give the other side of the coin, if Lotus wins with this draft, I think that they can win with anything.
I agree with that. That makes a whole lot of sense. And you see, they're going to come with some aggression on the top lane. Garen taking Ignite. Jin taking Ghost. And let me tell you, I'm a huge proponent of Ghost on ADCs. But elsewhere, the summoners aren't that crazy. And Ward's getting swept out on the blue side of the map. So tell me, what do you think? How do you think these jungle pathing is going to go? What do you see the early game for both these junglers, both early game oriented champions?
Yeah, so to start off, both starting on top side, I think Lee Sin is not one of the champions that you typically want to start on your blue buff. I think that he's one of the ones that like the red buff a little bit more to try and get things going earlier on. And him starting on blue side means that, or on top side means that he essentially wants to go towards the bot lane. Like I think we talked about, right? Getting control with your bot lane, trying to make the most out of what they can do, and that's why Lee Sin is going to try and path towards the bot side. Same with the reasoning for the Xin Zhao. You have your bot lane that, oh wait, already quite heavy trading.
Yeah, wait a minute. No. Marios is putting in work onto 3 losing lane, more like 1 losing lane. It's the top lane right now. That is not the trade you want to take.
Yeah, I think that's lane. That was so sad to see from the Garen. And he is running Ignite, which means that if he dies, he cannot come back to lane in any way.
Oh, okay. Now, do you think this is going to change Lee Sin's pathing? We might find out very shortly.
I was thinking maybe he could have gone for a blue buff into Frog, into then maybe go for a gank towards top lane with the way that the pushing was going. But I feel like if he didn't go for that earlier, he's not going for one earlier on. No, he's going to try and clear towards level 3 at this point.
Well, the top lane is going to get punished for that. Although the CS differential is not that large for right now, we could see a kill very soon. But let me tell you, we will see some combustible elements hit this bot lane. But it does look like Lee Sin's there a little bit earlier than Xin Zhao.
Yeah, he's going to be there first. He's keeping the red buff, which means that he's going to try and impact one of those lanes. That is one of the things that you achieve with the kind of gank of pathing that he went for. The ward, great ward.
Oh, here we go. The root is down onto the Tom Kench. Followed up with another root. The heal is burnt, but it doesn't matter. It's first blood for drops. They knew he was there, but he got the drops on him.
That was telegraphed. They knew this was happening. Xin Zhao also had the advantage because he had the red buff. You just needed to collapse on him, and Lee Sin was essentially dead. Or at least you were forcing the flash out. But it's instead a double bait from the side of Lotus, and they are able to get the kill onto the Tam King so early on. Really nice first blood they achieved, and this will give him more control early on for the Lee Sin in this game.
Yeah, it just seemed like the disrespect out of Signify there. Yeah. They were just like, hey, these champions don't have CC, and it's like, well, Seraphine's got a root.
Sure about that?
Jin's got a root. You're dead, buddy. They have indeed clogged the frog.
Yeah, they thought that Temkins was going to survive longer, like you're pointing out, and they just got baited like that. But looking at the minimap, oh wait. Yeah.
Could see a fight break out here as the Counter-Strike does land. Going back and forth here, and 3 losing lane is able to trade back pretty effectively. It was a pretty large wave for the blue side.
Yeah, he's able to trade well. Oh, wait.
Oh, he's going for a flash ignite. Counter-Strike is out. Is he going to get the stun back? He's going to get the solo kill. Dunzi shows up to the top lane, but gets nothing for it.
Yeah, Dunzi with the roam. It was a nice play by 3 losing lane, but I thought he was going to go for that when the first trade happened, because at that point I think that you can kind of force the play and maybe flash out to try and escape from the potential. But he blows everything up, the Garen dies, and Jax still has teleport. He comes back into the top lane, he's going to collect this huge wave, and he can even freeze it if he wants to. And this is just going to screw up 3 losing lane even more.
It seemed a little strange, but I mean... Okay, it's been a crazy early game full of kills that neither of us have really expected. Now we see a 1v1 in the mid lane. The exhaust goes down, but it's followed up by a stun. No mana on the
Oh
side of the Victor, but
no.
meanwhile in the top lane, the Counter Strike is down
Oh,
onto the Garen. The fancy feet may be able to get him out, but Snoop Donk is going to flash. Drops showing up to the party
oh.
will put the shield down, but it does not matter. 3 losing lane will fall. Drops getting taken pretty low, but will be able to walk away. Babs, now level 6, trying to chase down the Zillion, but you can't kill him the Zillion. He's a little too fast right now.
Yeah, and the worst news possible happening. They lose once again in the top lane. Garen dies, even with the attention of drops, he's dead. And the wave once again in such a horrible spot that this Garen is essentially died already thrice. It's not just the 2 that you see in your scoreboard, it's another death that he's receiving with this wave pushing into the Jax. This is horrible news for Lotus, which are just winning the bot side realistically. That's the only place that they're winning.
It's a mental death really for this Garen, and yeah, they do have a pretty small advantage on the bot side, but even then they don't have a CS lead now, and we could see Lotus has a pretty
Oh,
commanding lead
drops.
in the mid lane.
Oh, the
Meanwhile,
kill.
in the top lane, Drops is just making it
Great
happen.
timing
He's
from
going
his
everywhere. Wait, he's dead.
Oh,
Oh, he died to the turret.
yeah.
Okay.
Salvaging the situation there, because now, at least with this wave dying here in the top side, it means that Triss losing lane is no longer in that spot where he died twice. So salvaging the situation is still not the best of spots for the Garen, but it's making him come back. He did get, I think, one played in the top side, which for him is really ideal, but it's not the spot that you expect to have your Garen in.
Yeah, and really, Drops being off the map with that now burning a flash, it's really up to Snoop Dogg to try to take advantage. But here, Drops
Yeah.
is already back. We see that even though the Lee Sin died, their Infusion couldn't have any response.
Yeah, they are a little bit late towards what they would try to do. Now, looking for Babs, he's walking too far forward. I think
Yes,
he
he
needs to get in
is.
here.
Stun does not land very close. Signify trying to get in there, but does get stunned up by the
Just a
gravity.
flash.
Well,
Yeah.
flash over the wall for Babs. Everything is a-okay, but a flash down for your mid laner is never great, especially one like Victor doesn't have a whole lot of mobility.
Yeah, it just means that you're going to feel a little bit more at risk most of the times if you ever try to go a little bit too far forward against the Cillian. And if the Cillian works ahead of you, it probably means that you're either getting ganked or that you're going to lose a huge chunk of health because you cannot be safe. Oh, the
Oh,
ulti. Oh,
nobody is safe. Marios will fall. 3 members back in the mid lane. This one going over to Snoop Dogg as Infusion have come together to make a play onto Babs to try to shut down their reign of terror in the mid lane.
yeah, and great timing on the play. Just as the top lane play happened, I didn't expect at all 3 losing lane to go for the solo kill and be able to get it as effectively as he did. But nice timing, utilizing the ultimate, the counter strike doesn't achieve much, and he gets the kill. Then looking to mid lane, we didn't see how it all panned out, but it's the risk of not having the flash. If you walk a little bit too far forward as the Victor, you're getting collapsed on, you get stunned, and you're essentially dead immediately after that.
After a pretty rough start, it looks like this Garen is starting to apply a lot of
Yeah.
pressure. It is very scary. We kind of poo-pooed the pick a little bit. We thought that maybe Infusion should have sent a ban its way because it looks like it's all 3 losing lanes can play. But it's paying off right now. But Infusion will take the first dragon of the game. They will get that Infernal Drake, so a little bit of oomph in their attacks.
Yeah, they get the first rig, which I'm kind of surprised, especially how the game started. I thought that with the control that they had over in the bot side, they were going to go towards that first dragon and try and stack them as soon as they can, but it's instead going into the pockets of the side of BBU, which means that they are going to stop the soul win condition at least for the first 25 minutes. It's going to take a little bit longer for that to be an actual condition for the side of Lotus.
Well, slow and steady is the name of the game for Infusion. So
Yep.
if every dragon that you can take can give you some extra time to scale, you're pretty happy with that. So long as you don't give up the soul.
Yeah, the soul is going well, depending on the soul as well, right? Because if it's going to be Cloud Soul, I think that you're okay with giving that away.
It's definitely not going to be Cloud Soul because the second Drake of the game is going to be Cloud Drake.
Yeah.
And we see Drops heading up to the top lane here. Here comes the engagement. Nightsaw, though, had that snuffed out, was ready to make a play, will dissuade any gank here from Drops. And it looks like control for the top side of Infusion. It looks like they're going to start up this Rift Herald.
Yeah, they're realizing the risk that the Garen is bringing now. Don't want to give any other chance for the Garen to get a solo kill, and instead looking towards protecting this Jax, and now looking as well for this Herald. And I think that you take this Herald, you try and make a play topside, and get the turret, open up the Jax, and just leave him be on the side. And I think that that would be ideal. But if not, I think that we may see a lot of pressure towards the mid lane because of how Babs has been applying, it has been just clearing the wave and being ahead in CS most of the time. I think that that could be another chance for them to go for it. Oh,
Well, they put it on the Snoop Dunk, so it'll give him a lot of options. And we could see early on, I mean, Victor doesn't have even a completed item, but all of the damage that he put down on Nightsaw there, very scary. But what's very scary is a Garen coming out of a brush, but Mario's had that one snuffed out.
yeah, the thing is that the E deals quite a lot of damage from the Garen, and even with missing his silence on the Q, he deals quite a lot to this Jax. I'm actually beginning to feel scared over the sideline potential from this Garen later on.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Garen's a champion made for running at people, and let me tell you, Garen runs at people incredibly well. We see Nightsaw and Snoop Dunk up near the top lane trying to make a play happen here. Oh,
Oh,
they
he
are
got
ready to
baited.
go. The counter strike is there. The flash is out. Here comes the knockups. The CC layering is perfect,
baited.
and it's a kill going over to Snoop Dunk. Their third of the game. They have a Rift Herald available. Let's see if they go to use it.
Yeah, and I think they will. I don't think they are able to take this turret without the Herald. So yeah,
Yep.
using it to open up the Jax. Nice play here. I would even, I would even say this: leave as a Snoop Dunk, try and give the most gold possible towards the Jax if you can, and just allow for the Jax to get the whole mini wave alone as well. You don't need to push it like that. Oh,
Uh-oh.
ulti.
Zillion Ultimate is down. He died in the Chaos Storm, but here comes Drops. You can't move when you're in Zillion Ultimate. We'll just barely get out of range of the Lee Sin Q, and we'll be able to survive. Snoop Dunk trying to provide support. Drops pushing
Drops
forward,
flashing.
missing another Q, and here comes an engagement out of Snoop Dunk with a ward hop over the wall, and Drops will get out of there, but a flash down on the jungler for the side of Lotus.
Trying to utilize the flash to get the play down onto the Cillian, who didn't have flash, so I can kind of understand that. But yeah, what? Wait,
Yo, he
what?
just went for it, bro. Babs disrespecting Marios.
Yeah, I'm not
And a solo
questioning
kill.
Mario's.
Oh, no!
Another one?
Oh, so close.
Ooh.
Dragon's Rage will be able to get that Jax away from him, but Drops saw his life flash before his eyes, and so is Alistair as he's going to get knocked up. He's in a whole lot of trouble. Seraphine Ultimate goes down, but the flash around it, he's been eaten. He goes down. That's a kill over to Signify. Is Tiny Asian Boy going to be able to survive? Dunzy does have quite a bit of damage, trying to use that Gravitum, put it to good use, but Dunzy will be able to flash out. No, they just died. I'm not quite sure what they died to, but they died.
The Graviton. The Graviton Q?
Yeah, he died to the Gravitum Q.
That's it. Oh, wait, Marius.
More fighting going on everywhere, but Snoop Dunk able to get over the wall and save his top laner. Finally, we see a kill in the bot lane. It's 2 kills, one for Signify, one for Tiny Asian Boy. And let me tell you, it looks like there was a reason why this Aphelios was banned in all 3 games last week.
Yeah.
They're performing pretty well CS-wise, and that fight was pretty impressive.
Yeah, and that was a really nice play. Oh, wait.
And this could also be a really nice play.
Babs.
Knock up into knock up, but it's a flash for Babs. They get the gravity well out, and they'll be able to walk out to safety.
Yeah, and that play in the bot lane was really nice by Tiny Asian Boy, but I gotta give so much credit to Signify because he got the stun down as well into the Jhin. Even with the goals, he was able to get the stun, and that was just easily followed up by the Aphelios. Really nice display by the bot lane from BBU, getting that solo kill, that 2v2 kill in the bot lane, 2 kills, not 1, 2 kills in the 2v2, and just putting their team even farther ahead. This is already a nice lead that they have before 15 minutes against a composition that needs to have this lead, not the other team.
Early on into the game, we're 14 minutes now, and after a pretty rough start where you didn't quite know where it was going to go and Lotus seemed to have the upper hand, it's been all Infusion since then, as it looks like this Jax is going to take another tower. The only thing that they gave away was that Windrake, and Marios is going to be able to find a way out after getting a second turret, and this Jax is going to get larger. Hextech Drake is going to be the soul for tonight's game 1. And with a 4K gold lead right now, Infusion, they're sitting pretty.
Yeah, they're in such a good spot. They still have their scaling to get behind of. Even if this Cillian is behind, it doesn't matter because he just needs to press R, keep Aphelios alive, and that's it. Oh, Marius?
Let's see what happens here. Garen trying to put down a whole lot of damage. Marios wants no part of that fight. Garen trying to find the kill, and he does, using that judgment, and then able to get the last auto attack in. It's a 3rd kill for the Garen. He's got a stride breaker.
Yeah, it feels like after everything that has been happening, the Garen may be the bright point of this game for the side of Lotus, and if they're able to play around him in the side lane, then they can maybe try and look for the game to be won. But it's just hard for them to try and do this consistently because just playing around the Garen is not a safe enough bet. And if you leave the other side of the map unchecked, like we pointed out, the side of BBU can play with a 4-1 really easily. They have a 4 champions that can team fight without the Jax effectively.
Uh-oh. Looks like Alistair sniffed this one out. Snoop Dogg and Signify in the area. They tried to make a dive happen, unable to do so. The trap's going out. So now they know where Snoop Dogg is, but Drops, he wants this camp real bad.
Yeah.
Signify showing up and Snoop Dogg going in for it. He's in a 3v1 right now, though. Tom Kench unable to assist. He's going to walk it out under turret toward Tiny Asian Boy. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Babs trying to force off the Zillion. But yeah, Garen shows up out of nowhere. He took the long walk, and Signify is maybe going to take a long walk into the base. He gets interrupted mid-ultimate. Seraphine ultimate goes down and hits two. This is a very, very good fight for Lotus. They're going to find one. They're trying to find Signify. Signify picks that one up. Tiny Asian Boy on the backside has red and white, but cannot fight. And it's a pretty clean fight for the side of Lotus. It's 2-0.
Yeah, great timing for the fight, and credit to Tridos in lane. He ran down from the top side towards that fight to allow for his team to have a better chance. And at the start, it looked like Lotus was engaging into a fight that wasn't really that smart, but when every member was close by, they knew that everyone was going to respond. They were able to win that fight really effectively, get a couple of shutdowns, and put themselves back into a good, into a not so bad spot, because they're still with a gold deficit, but it's better than it was, I think, 2 minutes ago.
Absolutely. It went from 4K to 1.5K. Yeah. That said, Marios did pick up the second Rift Herald and is now on a 1v1 with the Garen, but just gets absolutely obliterated. He didn't have the damage for it. Garen picking up a 5th kill. This guy's going to get out of control real soon.
Yeah, I want to retract whatever I said about Garen in this game from Tridos in lane, because he's been he's been screwing over this Jax so effectively this whole game. Yes, even with the laning phase going as badly as it did, as soon as the level 6 was hit, it's been solo kill after solo kill after solo kill for Tridos in lane.
It's been an absolute dogfight between these two top laners, with them getting the better of each other on other occasions, but lately it's been all three losing lane. And we know Jax is known for his incredible scaling potential, and with this Hullbreaker is just going to look to split push all day long. But there's a point right now where can't match the Garen.
Yeah, it feels like it's going to be a mistake for him. It feels like it's going to be a mistake for him. Oh wait.
Uh-oh, this could be trouble. Doesn't have quite enough damage out of Nightsaw here. Just 0-0-1 with an Everfrost. And also with Swifty Boots instead of Sorcerer Shoes. Obviously pretty understandable, but does mean you're going to be lacking a little bit of extra oomph behind your spells.
Yeah, but it's really early though, and I feel like the Cillian already achieving quite a bit of damage even without having the items to back him up, and I think that's going to be an important thing later on for the side of BBU or not again.
Uh-oh, let's see what happens here. Trade not looking so bad for the Jax as he's really going for it. There's no turret to help out the Garen. Garen is going to be able to flash over the wall, and Jax is going to be very happy with that Summoner Burn.
Is it now thanks to the Hullbreaker, or is it because he played that a little bit better? Because I think that he played with the Counter-Strike better than he has in the previous fight.
Oh, man, he's just going for it. He's going to flash on top of the Garen. He's going to find the stun. Oh, no! Garen with the tenacity is going to be able to find the kill on Jax. He got a little overzealous. That's terrible. That Rift Herald's not going to get very much value.
Just as I was praising you, Marius, I was saying you played that well, and then commits for the solo kill, ends up paying the price. He loses the Rift Herald even though it got the crash. And the Garen is also coming for this fight. It's going to be a 5v4. Oh,
here we go. Snoop Dogg is going for it, but it's a 3-man charm by the Seraphine. From behind is the Garen. That's not good. He's on top of Tiny Asian Boy. He's been eaten by the Tom Kench, but Tiny Asian Boy is forced to kite it out. He will be able to find a kill. He's going to stay alive. Is he? He's burning away. The Ignite was enough to take him down. And just like that, it's a 2-for-1. But here comes a teleport out of this Jax. He is very healthy. Ultimate down. The Zillion ulted himself. And it looks like Lotus is going to have to run from the fight. Mario is trying to find a way in, but is unable to. Here comes the curtain call, trying to find a kill, maybe curve the bullet. He's going in for it, but no. Lee Sin did not secure the dragon, and he secures a death for himself as well. But Alistair is going to get one back, manages to curve the bullet onto that Tom Kench. What a crazy fight.
Yeah, it was really chaotic. I thought that it was going to be much more in the favor of the side of Lotus, but the Garen got a little bit too late to that fight. That fight started really amazingly by Snoop Dogg going in with the ultimate, getting a really massive engage, and separating some of the members in the fight. That meant also that even though the surfing got a massive encore, it didn't actually got any value. It hit 3 people, but the members were so spread out that nobody could follow up. And the only member that could follow up, which was the Garen, got way too late into the fight through the Hex Gate, and was able to at the end kill Tiny Asian Boy, but it was thanks to in the price of his own life, and they couldn't follow up that fight much more effectively. So overall, it was a really messy fight. It was really chaotic, but I think that that was one of the best opportunities for Lotus to win and try and put themselves with a better lead, or at least close out the lead that they were in, the deficit that they were in. And it's actually just going much more in favor of the side of BBU.
Yeah, Lotus was a man up in that fight up until the very end. And even then, they just felt powerless at that point. It was such a great engage by Snoop Dogg. Dunzy did what they could. But let me tell you, I'd hate to see what would have happened with that fight if Garen was not able to get to the back line using the Hex Gate. Tiny Asian Boy was looking to run the fight.
Yeah, he was about to survive so well, and it did show one thing that we talked about in draft, right? The safety that Aphelios may potentially be in almost all the fights. Like, he got devoured, he then was able to run away thanks to the Cillian movement speed, and even then, if the Cillian was still not able to give him the ultimate. If the Cillian just gives it the Aphelios the ultimate, Aphelios doesn't die.
Well, he does, but then he revives.
Technically, yeah. but he's there. He's still there, right? And that's what matters.
So far, Infusion, while they may be down in kills, they are up in gold, and this is an aggressive attempt at an engage out of drops. Although members are over the wall, and it looks like Snoop Dogg going to be eaten over the wall. Does get rooted up again. Seraphine Ultimate's only going to hit one. The Dragon's Rage as well. They're committing a lot to this fight, but Snoop Dogg is so strong. And now Tiny Asian Boy, red, white, means don't fight. He's going to find a kill. Unfortunate for them, not able to get more, but Snoop Dogg, he's going for it. He no longer has the Zillion ultimate. He's going to get hit. Now he's gone gold, and he's in a compromising position. Marios is going to try to help him out to survive, but Alistar will find the kill onto that Xin Zhao. Meanwhile, mid outer turret will fall. It's a 4v4. Drops had to back, though, and make it a 4v3, but Infusion unable to get more.
Yeah, it does end up being a 1-for-1 support for jungler, but a lot was blown from both teams. The only good thing is that Losing Lane still has ultimate, so maybe he can go for this kill against Marius, if Marius is not careful enough.
Well, he's died 6 times. I'm not sure if that means he's going to be more careful or less careful at this point.
Maybe just enough. Just enough so that he dies but takes someone with him.
Just a little bit of care, but let me tell you, we're on a collision course with these Titanic top laners, but Garen's up 2 levels and Marios is in retreat, but was unable to get away. Yikes, bro. That looked like it did 1,000 damage.
Yeah, I think that he was not careful enough at that time. 3 and 7, and I don't know how it happened.
He caster cursed him.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Marius. It was my fault at the end, but I don't know how it happened. Losing Lane has a 2-level lead over Marius.
He might even have a 3-level lead at some point. He just took bottom outer turret, mid outer turret going down as well. And just like that, when it looks like Infusion manages to open up a lead, Lotus closes it back up. It's back to about 1.5K.
Yeah, and we're reaching a point where, well, it's not yet to that degree, but we're reaching the point where one mistake can mean an objective. Because your death timers are becoming longer, you're not able to get towards certain spots quicker, you have to rely on your teleports, and Losing Lane without the teleport has to be much more close to the action than maybe Marius needs to be. So these moments in the game are really troublesome, or at least a little bit troublesome for the side of Lotus, and in comparison can be a really nice advantage for the side of BBU, because if they can play around their teleport advantage, as well as the Tem Kench moving around with the Abyssal Dive from certain distances, it can actually benefit a lot of BBU.
Yeah, and you mentioned the teleport disadvantage. Losing Lane was pushing the top lane, starting to move toward the dragon, is now back to pushing the top lane against Marios, who does have the teleport available. Looks like vision control is going toward Lotus here, as Victor is just kind of able to push out Infusion in choke points here, but they've opted to give up the vision and trying to get the inside track on the mid wave. Now a 1v1 fight, but Marios is able to just teleport over the wall. He's going to channel, and he is going to get out of there. Garen unable to stop him. It's going to be a 5v4 for at least a little bit, and it looks like Lotus is aware, but his drop's going to int for the dragon once again. Curtain call is out. Oh, he took it! No way! Alistar with a huge curtain call there is going to steal the dragon right from under the noses of Infusion. And now Lotus, they've got the inside track. They can kind of carry Infusion around if they want to, but Marios, he's going to go in, gets kicked. There's the
Oh,
ultimate. It's only going to hit one, but they're going to
There it is
blow up
here.
the Jax, and now it's a 5v4. Nightsaw is going to have to try to get out of there. He's going to land a double stun, but he's going to fall for it. Signify getting lower and lower is going to burn the Grey
I think
Health
it's
shield,
burned.
and it's a 2-0. The support is forced to back, and Lotus have their sights set on the Baron.
I don't know how that worked out. I'm surprised it worked out, but I gotta commend Lotus because it worked out. Oh no.
Oh, over the
wait.
wall, it's a double root. Babs is here,
Unless-
trying to make a big play, but Donk is engaged on him. The Gravity Well is going to cut off some of the members of the team. Tiny Asian Boy trying to make it happen over the wall, does get the root down, but now Drops is going to go over the wall to try to get it. Alistair is going to pick up that kill, and the Lee Sin's going to survive. Garen flashes over the wall on top of both AD carry and support. They're so low, it forces them out. The Baron never lost any HP. This is a free one for Lotus.
Okay, yeah, but they were nowhere was close by. That was closer than it needed to be, thanks to Tiny Asian Boy and Signify surviving there, also forcing out the smite out of the Lee Sin. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You get the Baron buff, you get a lot of important kills, and the gold lead that was almost always in favor of the side of BBU now finally goes into the hands of Lotus. After a really impressive series of events, Jane is sealing the Hextech Dragon with the 4th shot of his ultimate, which I don't think either of us saw coming. Then the team fight working out so well for them, they were able to stop the engage from Marius and then re-engage really effectively. Donzi, once again, I want to commend his ultimates because have been so good. The Encores have hit important targets and they have been able to capitalize on them. And then we saw the value of the Garen in a team fight.
Yeah, he just came through and absolutely tried to blow him up. Here comes a potential engagement. There's no stun. However, Snoop Dogg and Nightsaw are here. The speed boost, and now the Garen is on the run. Is he going to be able to get away? The Counter-Strike is down, but Snoop Dogg and Nightsaw, they said, hey man, we got to get out of here because here comes Drops trying to make a play. The Q is broken up by the Banshee's Veil. Dunzi and Drops, they're going to try to back off here. All 5 members for Lotus are down here near the bottom quadrant of the map. Tiny Asian Boy up in the top lane. This is not Infusion's fight.
Yeah, they don't want to take this at all. But what they are doing here is really nice because they are stopping. Oh wait, unless
it looked like Drops wanted to handshake that, but Snoop Dogg said, "Hey man, we're losing. I'm trying to fight every second, every minute."
Yeah, but this benefits a lot the side of BBU because they are stopping the potential push from the side of Lotus. Like, yeah, they may have lost this turret, but this could have been already a push into the base that could have been much more hurtful for the side of Lotus. Oh, wait, Marius?
Mid-inner turret going down. Mario's trying to fight back here in the top lane, but he just tickles the Garen. Everybody rotating over. A pretty nice juke out of the Jax. He'll be able to get out of there, but not before the bot inner turret falls. And now the gold lead for Lotus beginning to turn, beginning to swell. It's 3.5K in their favor now, and they're looking to potentially break down the base.
Yeah, and I don't... Oh, wait, the Encore again!
Oh, there's a 2-man charm. Here comes the curtain call. Looking to just try to get a lot of damage down. 4th shot ready to come out. Is who's he going to hit? Who's he going to pick? He will fire and miss. Nightsaw taking quite a bit of damage from that Chaos Storm. But it looks like the side of Lotus is relatively healthy. They've got a new wave coming in. Is Infusion going to be able to stop the bleeding here?
They need to force a fight, potentially, especially with so many cooldowns down.
Wait, here we go! That's a 3-man Counter-Strike, and here comes the engagement. Everybody trying to get in there. Tiny Asian Boy just trying to fight for the back of the fight. But it's a 4-man root. Babs is going to find a kill onto the Jax. Snoop Dogg can't sustain. Another kill goes down. It's 3 kills for the Jin. Is he going to get a 4th? He's got a triple. Jin, you know his favorite number's 4. Can he get in range? He's going for it. He's going for it, but he's only going to get 3. Nightsaw trying to turn that one around, and he's going to kill the Jin. That's actually massive here. I'm not sure if Lotus is going to be able to end off of this. Nightsaw is going to have his work cut out for him. He's trying to stun up the minions. He's been engaged on by the Lee Sin. He's going to fall back into the base. The first Nexus turret has fallen. He is pushed back even more. The Baron has run out on the minions. The second Nexus turret is going down. He's been spun by the Victor. He's going to die. Nobody there to defend the Nexus. Who cares about your respawn timers? Team Lotus is taking game 1.
Okay, I was worried just a little bit. I was still worried a little bit at the end. But what a game from Team Lotus. With a composition that, like, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't expect anything since the start of the game. But they played that so well. 3 losing lane, you point this out, you take away the champion that he plays the most, and I was still a little bit skeptical, but I agree 100% with you now. He played the Garen really, really well, understood his advantages, maybe disrespected a little bit at the start, but as soon as he got after that level 6, past his level 6, it was just solo kill after solo kill after solo kill. And it didn't matter who was there or how was the Jax fighting. Really nice done by him. But I think, at least to me, the MVP of the game, because of the value of the pick, was Donzi. He got so many crucial picks with the anchor, with the E, keeping a lot of allies healthy as well with the W. I think did a massive job this game.
I was certainly not expecting to see the solo QS team comp with the Garen
Yeah.
come out and smack VBU in the mouth, but they certainly did. And I was very happy to see Babs play this Victor. We see why Babs has such a great win rate on this champion. While they didn't hard carry the game by any means, they got a lot of value off of their gravity fields, put down a lot of damage with their laser. But again, like you said, the MVP does have to be Dunzy, setting up that bot lane kill 4 drops really set the tempo from level 1.
Yeah, even when in moments when they were behind, like he never was mispositioned to die most of the time. Like he died, don't get me wrong, because he's a Seraphine. Like she's bound to die most of the time. But most of the fights that they were able to win or get an advantage from were thanks to great setups by Donzi. And we talked about the lack of engage that this team composition had, and that it was going to depend on both drops and Donzi getting something done. And Donzi did it. Donzi put on his carry pants as the support and went in with the engages, with great engages as a Seraphine, and allowed for his team to get so much done in team fights.
Yeah, and you saw in that very last fight the counter engagement from Marios getting the 3-man stun. Who was positioned perfectly? It was Dunzy.
Yep.
Who landed a 4-man root with that beat drop, that E? It was Dunzy. Like, that's a small moment in that team fight that could be overlooked. But if you look back at the replay, or you're as smart as you and I, you can see that was a huge play there and a huge reason why they won that last fight. Those fights, once you get to the base, are so tenuous. They're so easy to lose. But Dunzy made sure, you know what? I'm going to idiot proof this for the rest of my team.
Yeah, it was so well done. And it was a spot where, like you're pointing out, if it gets turned around or if it gets destroyed like they did with that great engage from the side of BBU, it can turn into a much worse scenario because they were still the composition that had the better scaling. And if the game keeps on going after that fight, they stop the Baron buff, they are able to collect another dragon and threaten soul point and things like that, then BBU may look into a much better opportunity later on. But because the game was forced into that spot so early before 30 minutes, it allowed for anything that Lotus could want to go for aggressively to work out, and then Duncy just adding the extra with with the engages, with the volley from the Seraphine to even get more for the side of Lotus.
It seems to happen all the time. A team picks a
Yep.
scaling composition and then all of a sudden does not allow themselves to scale. And oh no, we lost the game. How did this happen? It just seemed that Marios got a little bit too aggressive against 3 losing lane. And, we'll have to see how the draft adaptation goes through. We will see if VBU Infusion elect to say, you know what, we will ban the Garen. But we will see that
Maybe.
very soon as we are going to cut to a short break while we get everything set up for the draft for the second game of the series between Team Lotus and VBU Infusion.
thinking about you almost every single day. You brush me off and I push my luck, but that's okay. It's after midnight, we're stumbling under the street lights, afraid to admit that it feels right, but it feels right. And I don't wanna see tomorrow. It's after midnight, we're stumbling under the street lights, afraid to admit that it feels right, but it feels right. And I don't wanna see tomorrow. It's after midnight, we're stumbling under the street lights, afraid to admit that it feels right, but it feels right. And I don't wanna see tomorrow. It's after midnight, we're stumbling under the street lights, afraid to admit that it feels right, but it feels right. And I don't wanna see tomorrow.
Welcome back in, everybody, to Game 2 draft between Lotus and VBU Infusion. It is the Blue Otter League. It is the Diamond League, the second week of the season. Both of these teams undefeated. One will no longer remain afterward. And we're flying through picks and bans here. York, Soraka, Aurelian, Solon on the other side for Infusion. Jinx, Karma, Jin gone. TDS, my co-caster, what do you think are the draft adaptations going to come through for this next game? What would you
Well,
like to see?
there's already one, which is a Jin. Banning it away to not allow for Lotus to have it. We have seen Alistar playing it so effectively in last week and now in the previous game as well. So
Mm-hmm.
getting rid of it, I kind of like it. Leaving open Caitlyn for a bot lane like Lotus is one where they like to have control, where they like to keep the push up, where they like to have a lot of to do, a lot of saying what happens there. I think that may be risky, but I feel like after what we have seen already with the Jhin, it's better to take the bet of going against the Caitlyn than that of the Jhin.
Yeah, and Alistair plays a very mean Caitlyn. They've been a Caitlyn main in
Yep.
years past. It was banned as well against them last week. They did not want Alistair playing any of his two main champions. And right here, against VBU Infusion, Infusion has said, you know what? We'll play this dangerous game. We'll let you have your champions. And it didn't really work out in game one. And with this Seraphine as a support again, I'm questioning whether or not it'll work out for game two.
I'm still expecting to see if it falls into the mid lane instead of the support, so as a flex pick. But yeah, after what we saw from Dons in the first game, I wouldn't be surprised if it falls into the support position again. And Caitlyn Surfing can be a really bothersome lane to play against. Like, I know Lux is probably the S tier support that you typically pick with Caitlyn and Morgana as well, but Seraphine is quite bothersome as well, and she, I think, scales a little bit better than other supports as well, so she's going to be so valuable in this game. And BB Infusion opting for the Cillian once again, not taking the Victor, and I feel like the Lotus played that side of the matchup better. We talked about how the Lotus was willing to give away Cillian because they value the Victor more, and maybe BBU was also willing to go for that trade, but Lotus showed that they are more willing to take the side of the trade because Victor just was so valuable with the gravity fields like you were pointing out, and the value of the Victor just ended up being much more so than that of the Cillian in the previous game.
Yeah, it seemed like Victor was so much more aggressive. And, they kind of just said, you know what, we're going to stay in lane And typically that's not so great, but with how well the rest of the team was doing around Babs, keeping Nightsaw in the lane was exactly what you wanted. And every time Zillion tried to move, Victor was there throwing down lasers, forcing them back into lane. We're gonna play the farm game. But now the team fight wrecker known as Corky, this is in Nightsaw's wheelhouse, is going to be picked. It's been waning in popularity a bit, but still an incredibly strong champion. You cannot discount the package.
Yeah, I still value Corki so highly. The build is still alive, and even if the package was changed, like the rocket still deal a ton of damage. So it just makes sense that we end up seeing it again. This Corki pick means though, like we're seeing right now in the bans, that the Garen is taken away, and now we're going to see what three losing lane will play in comparison to the Garen. We saw how impressive and impactful his Garen ended up being, and we will see what does he bring into the table. But this also means that now I'm kind of interested in seeing where the Cillian falls into, because this may be a flex potential that BBU Infusion may end up using, because they forced the Corky pick already. They can go for a counter pick in the next two picks and then try and punish this Corky match with a Victor, for example.
Yeah, and Zillion and Corky, they're just gonna farm it out and have a great time. And now the last band coming out for the side of Infusion is Jin Zhao. So they've gotten rid of Garen Jin Zhao, and on the side of Lotus, they took out Tryndamere and Hecarim, not wanting to play against those champions, some annoying ones for sure. So far in Fusion's composition, I feel like they're going to need some team fight engagement, hard CC. I don't know what your thoughts are, but I don't think Misfortune and Gwen with the Zillion speed up is going to cut it. Oh, I was getting so ready to rep the shirt because I saw the Kindred was hovered, but
I was behind that. I was
not so
thinking
much.
it. Yeah, like Kindred could have actually worked out because of the team fight value. Oh, okay.
Hmm. Interesting to pick an assassin into a Zillion where he can
Yeah.
just revive the target, but it does put down pressure, and Kane can put down quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, if
This
you're able to
Lotus
force
team
out the Cillian ulti
Mhm.
earlier, I think that that's valuable from the king. Like you don't need to kill, you just need to threaten the kill and force out the ultimate out. Oh,
Oh, okay. Pretty big stuff here.
yeah,
So interesting to note, Pantheon was banned in all three games last week against Infusion. So Marios is going to be able to get their champion of choice. Not only that, but Nightsaw also going to get their champion of choice because the victor is going to come through in the mid lane. It is a Zillion support.
yeah,
I'm not sure how I feel about this team composition, though. I feel like while it has a lot of raw power, it certainly can lack some reliable engagement.
yeah. It's going to be a lot. I feel like on the Pantheon, getting either speed boost by the Cillian to try and force with the W, or the Pantheon falling down from top. But against Lotus's composition, that may be suicide because you have traps, you have anchor, you have Seraphine E, you have the body slam, you have Kane's W if he's on red form as well. So there's a lot of ways to deny this Pantheon if it's in a telegraphed ultimate. But apart from that, I'm kind of looking at BBU's composition, and they are really dependent on their R buttons. Like if the R buttons are misused or they are not able to lay them down in a team fight, they may just essentially not get any value at all.
There are two things that are true in life, and it's three things actually. It's death, taxes, and a Lotus top laner being forced onto Gragas. Not sure if that's the call or not, but last week, Accelerate, who was the top laner for Lotus, played Gragas twice. Didn't really play so great. It's time for three losing lanes to shine, and we'll see if they are able to play the Gragas to any great effect. It didn't really fit into Lotus's team compositions last week, and it wasn't really that impactful. What do you think about the current comp they have going on now?
What I fear from Lotus's composition is maybe the lack of a front line, because yes, Gragas is going to be that, but I would like them to have another champion that could have been. A one champion frontline is much more susceptible than a two champion frontline, and I think that that may be something that Lotus may suffer from. But apart from that, I love their composition. I think they have great damage dealers in the form of Killing and Corki. They have great scaling with the Corki and the Killing as well as the Seraphine. King, you can even add it to the mix. You have a nice disengage button in the Gragas, and then you have re-engage with the Gragas as well. And you have a lot of value now from Seraphine being the secondary engager, because if the previous game she did a massive job being the main engager, being a Seraphine, I think that Gragas, having that Gragas that it can be the main engage, you're job as a Seraphine becomes easier to be done, and you can get much more value. I think that Lotus's composition is great, and I think that if they are able to not give away bad leads or at least fight front to back correctly, they should have a lot of control in how they play this game.
Based on the champions that we have seen selected and where we think everybody's going to go, we'll have confirmation for that soon, but I highly doubt we'll see a Victor or a
For
Pantheon
support.
support. Who do you think is the matchup to watch going into this game?
Well, we will see now Nightso with a Victor, something so potentially seeing how he performs against Babs that when he performed amazingly. But I want to point out, or I want to see a lot the jungle matchup, Gwen against Kane, because Gwen and Kane kind of are similar in the sense that they do like to go much more for the clearing method. They want to try and clear their camps as quickly as they can, try and refresh them, try and keep up tempo in the map by just uh, farming as much as possible and impacting the lanes. I don't want to say as little as possible, but not having to do too much because they want to get towards their strongest points, which are getting those items, getting those levels. Kane may do so much more because he needs the souls, but apart from that, they are much more inclining themselves into farming. And I want to see if we see much more action from the junglers or if we see just normal farming junglers in this game.
Well, naturally, with a Kane on one side, you're not really going to see too much farming. That being said, it seems like it can be hard to manufacture some action in these lanes. While it seems that everybody, aside from Corki, does have a certain amount of CC, outside
Yeah.
of the top laners, it's kind of unreliable.
Yeah, it's hard to get it done, but it can get it done. Like you're pointing out, I think Corki is probably the harshest place to look for it because he doesn't have. But on the bot lane, you have good chances. On the top lane, you have good chances. And even if you don't get the CC down, you have a slow with the Kane, and the Surfing as well does have the slow that can help even without her double E. So we may see much more action, like you're pointing out with Kane, that maybe I am expecting. The thing that I want to point out with the Kane in the watching for the year in the early game is where does he put his attention into? Because if he goes a lot to top lane, I think that may hint that he wants the red form. If he goes towards bot lane or mid lane, I think that he wants the blue form.
What do you think would be better in this matchup?
I like the idea of the blue Kane just because it's much more. It has much more mobility, and like we were saying, it can threaten the Cillian ultimate much better than that of the Red King. But I think that Red King can also find a lot of value because, like I was mentioning previously, I think having the front line is something that could benefit a lot the side of Lotus, and having Kane on the red farm means that you have potentially a secondary frontliner as well. But I feel like they are going to all be into the blue Kane, so I think that we're going to get a lot of focus in mid and bot lane.
Well, we will have to see where Lotus's focus lie, and if you are VBU Infusion, your backs are against the wall. You do not want to take a loss. Team number 2 and team number 3 in the power rankings for me. Lotus number 2, VBU Infusion number 3. We will see if Infusion can stack up to the number 2 squad, at least in my opinion. Where did you rank these guys coming into this week?
If I'm not wrong, I had Lotus second or third, and I have BBU fourth.
Interesting, interesting. I feel like probably for a lot of the same reasons. It just feels like after that first game, Lotus drafted a little disrespectfully, and Fusion had a composition that they wanted, and they were not able to execute. We will see if they will be able to do a little bit better this time around. But for right
Yep.
now, we are in a spectator delay, so do not go anywhere. After about 2 to 3, maybe 4 minutes, we will be back with some more Blue Otter League Diamond action between Team Lotus and VBU Infusion. Welcome back in, everybody. We are here on the Rift for Game 2 between Team Lotus and VBU Infusion. Lotus, they took Game 1, but this time they are going to be on the red side, whereas VBU Infusion, they are on the blue side, and they've been spotted out by drops early on.
Well, they were able to spot Snoop Dogg. I think he's trying his best to make a bait, and it's not going to work out.
We dabbed on him, bro. You see him hit the dab?
No, but it's still nice job, drops. You didn't buy into. Oh no, they're buying on it. Okay, no, they didn't.
All right, good. Gragas, top of the damage chart.
Yeah.
Big damage dealer this game, Gragas.
If it was a spell tips Gragas, he would already get gold.
Oh my god, he'd be so rich, bro.
You would get one extra pot.
Be an oligarch, bro.
How much gold do you get enough for a pot or not with one hit?
So you get 20 per. So
okay, yes,
you would have to get all 3 triggers of your spell thieves. I mean, I tend to have that happen when I play Karma because I ping my team and I say, "Hey team, I want some gold, help me out." And aggressively try to get that taken care of. Dunsey and Alistair though, Dunsey not too aggressive with it. We do see that Signify not going spell thieves on their end either.
Yeah, actually going for the I always forget the name of the item, the relic shield to get that extra resistance and getting also the potential body for the farm. Maybe thinking that they are not going to get the easiest access into the wave, so just trying to make the most of it. But a lot of minions lost.
Yeah, so far they're also beating the tar out of Alistair right now. No pots burned out of the Caitlyn yet, but the first one finally done at about half HP. So good stuff out of Tiny Asian Boy and Signify so far.
Yeah, it's kind of the thing that you see with the Misfortune when she's taking Comet, and here you just want to poke the living hell out of your opponent with the E, with the Make It Rain, so it just works out so well. And doing a great job from the start by both Tiny Asian Boy and Signify, like you're pointing out, but it's still Caitlyn and Serving, so they are going to push this wave, they are going to get the advantage, and try and just control down here.
Oh, here comes drops. The flashes burn out of Marios, but way too far forward. Body Slam doesn't land, but the slow is there, and that's going to be first blood going over to 3 losing lane. And with a little bit of help from their jungler this time around, but it's another kill onto this sub-top laner that's been playing out of their mind.
Yeah, a great first blood, and important to notice, because of the early game shenanigans we didn't notice, or we didn't point it out, but Marios is taking Ignite, which means that he's not going to be able to respond this wave, he's going to lose a cannon, and that is setting him behind quite a bit compared to the first game.
There's not much more you can say other than big oof. That said, Snoop Dogg maybe trying to make something happen, forcing the flash out of Dunsey in the bot lane, so while it's not a kill, it's a solid response out of the opposing jungler.
Yeah, something is better than nothing. That's a rule that I always live by, and I think that at least getting that flash out means that if they ever walk too far forward, these are champions that you can punish, and a kill onto the Surfing can be really important to try and set the tone for this lane in favor of the side of VBU.
Game developing pretty chill so far. It does look like that Gwen is a couple of camps up onto this Kayn, who went back to the base and picked up a tier as their first item, so looking to scale up into that amount of Monet.
Kind of making me think, because tier is something that we see much more with the Assassin Kayn than with a more bruisery Kayn, right? So making me think that maybe he's going to opt into that Assassin build, although he's not yet gone into any ranged lane, so it's going to be risky for him.
That's a lot of damage. Look at the headshot procs. Alistair is going to find Signify. It's a kill in the 2v2, and that's why you ban that champion away from this guy. So dangerous. Very well played.
Do we speak about the failed flash or not?
Oh,
the trapping?
We might speak about a lot of flashes. Alistair had flashed forward and another headshot proc. Tiny Asian Boy with just a tiny bit of health, managing to survive, but Alistair in a whole lot of trouble. Snoop Dogg relentlessly going after this AD carry. Dunsey doesn't have the mana to help him out. Forced back to the turret. He goes back in, finds the kill just barely outside of the turret range in the top lane. Another gank for drops onto Marios, and like you said, focus on the melee champion in the top lane. Is this a red Kayn?
It's getting really interesting seeing what does drop opt into this, because with the tier, I'm kind of getting confused, but at the same time with the ganking onto top lane just makes me feel like he's going for red Kayn. But talking a little bit about what happened in the bot lane, If Alistar doesn't greed and turns around, he gets the better of the trade. You force a gank that doesn't get anything, and you're able to pretty much essentially win the lane because you are able to already get a kill. So that kill that they get onto the Caitlyn makes it so that this situation in the bot lane is not as bad as it could have been, but it's still not that good because Caitlyn still got a kill, and she will be able to threaten with the Seraphine still.
And I think the scariest part about that is the pure Caitlyn skill coming out. You can tell this is a player that is well practiced and knows their combos perfectly. Was able to execute a kill and almost a second one, but wasn't able to get that second one, like you said, the kill going over to Gwen. And that could be trouble for the side of Lotus because Gwen, one of those champions that can get out of control quick.
Yeah, kill for the win is something that you almost never want to give away. We did see it in the last week's matchups, right? But on drops, oh no,
No.
No.
He got greedy. 3 losing lane, tries to go for it. Fails the flash. Marios, with a bit of help from his turret, will be able to get a solo kill, and that'll certainly give him some more breathing room in this lane.
yeah, essentially giving back what he took at the start of the lane with that solo kill. I really don't like the play by 3 losing lane, like you're pointing out, really greedy. And I think that if you're going to pull that up, wait till level 6. You were really close. It's not like he was super far away from that level 6. Just 2 or 3 more minions from getting that level 6 to go for the solo kill. Oh,
Patience is a virtue in League of Legends, and not many players have it.
yep.
It is so hard to be patient in this game. You see a kill and your eyes just light up, and you go, "I can do this." And sometimes you can do it, and sometimes you can't.
Yeah, one thing that I've learned from that is that players that have the most patience are either junglers or supports.
Well, we see some junglers in support, along with a mid laner here, Snoop Dogg, pushing forward, forcing the flash out of Corki.
Yeah, forcing the flash out, trying to fight for that Skull Crab. And one thing that the Gwent has been doing so effectively is keeping up this farm. She's so far ahead of the Kane. And are they really going to fight this? The Kane is still level 5.
Tiny Asian boy in a bad
Oh,
spot
nice
will
flash.
have to flash away, but they're looking to turn the fight. They
Oh,
found
the
Dunzy.
TP.
Marios
No, the
came in
ultimate,
from the
actually.
side. He didn't TP. He just ulted. Alistair over the wall, throws the spear. It does not land. But a great job of the top laner for the side of VBU Infusion to get down to this fight. But he's looking for more. He's got bloodlust in his eyes, flashing forward, finding a kill onto Alistair. But 3 losing lane up in the top side, trying to get some gold back. First dragon of the game go over to Lotus here near the 8-minute mark.
Yeah, and getting the dragon, but not only that, getting the teamfight win, really crucial for BBU to try and set themselves into a good pace coming into this mid game. And I want to question a lot the decision making from Lotus going into that fight, because they weren't really in a really good spot to force the fight. Jonesy still didn't have flash, and Drops didn't have level 6, so it's not like if you engage, you have the ultimate to play around as the Kane. And I feel like if you're going to go for such a risky play, you have to have someone that is far ahead enough or that has enough value as of now to make that fight work. And I don't think almost anyone from the side of Lotus was that kind of player at that point of the fight.
Interesting thing to note. Mario's still very far behind, even after making that play in the bot lane, due to the CS discrepancy and 2 plates over to 3 losing lane. The gold difference is really the difference in the game right now. It's about 500, and take a look at the gold score. It's 400 difference right there.
Yep, banking a lot on that top lane diff is what's right now helping Lotus. But at the same time, the fact that that Marius was able to help around in the other side of the map is quite huge for the side of BBU, because he was already kind of losing the lane. So the fact that he was able to impact the map in a positive way, I think that it's more valuable, and it's something that we saw 3 losing lane doing in the previous game as the Garen. Just moving away from his lane and just trying to impact the map positively.
Uh-oh, there's a lot of damage down on the 3 losing lane. You could see Marios with that sheen just pumps out damage.
Yeah, I'm also surprised that 3 losing lane is actually taking the more tanky approach with the Bami Cinder, because he's taking Comet. So I thought that he was going to go for Everfrost and then maybe opt for a little bit of tanking.
Corki trying to make a move happen. Drops has realized that they have the man advantage here up on the top side. But they are not going to start up that Rift Herald just yet. Not enough confidence for them quite yet.
They are afraid that maybe, who knows, someone just comes in and kills them.
It's a shame because now they see Gwen on the bot side after clearing out that pink that they could have definitely gone for it. But it does look like Kane will match her bot side.
Yeah, Kane is already down there, so it's not going to be a play that the side of Lotus can look forward to. But it does mean that really losing lane we have free power, free reign in this top side, and he can try and pressure a little bit more the Pantheon. Oh wait,
Trying to find the collapse here. Snoop Dogg is going back in for it.
nice
Tried
one.
to get the smite down, but Gwen is immune as Dunzi thought they had a root there. But
When he's so far ahead, by the
yeah,
way.
yeah, the CS differential is massive. 2 kills on him, and right now, although they're trying to, it seems like they're trying to leverage their power, but that's a dangerous game.
Yeah, it's something that they cannot fight half-heartedly. They can get punished so immediately. And right now, the value that the Gwen has with the mace, like you were pointing out, it's so huge. Because one misstep means that you don't get any damage on her, and she can instead just 100 to 0 you in a couple of seconds.
All right, and at the same time, with an early lead like this, you really don't want to give it away.
Yeah, it's important to try and not overestimate your strength. Maybe it's the kind of word that I would look for in these kind of situations, and play according to what not only you but the rest of your team can afford you.
Mario's taking a whole
Oh,
lot of damage, is really looking
he's
to bait
baiting
this
it.
one. 3 losing lane,
Oh,
fell
he got
for
it.
it, but the flash down, they'll find the kill. Now, Snoop Dogg, are they
Nice
going to be
ulti.
able to re-engage? They're going to burn the Ghost, but here comes Drops. Are they going to be able to find the kill onto the Scragus? Not too much CC being provided by
Oh,
the team. Snoop Dogg able to find the kill, but so much damage was put down onto this Gwen. It ends up being a shutdown for Drops there, and the goal lead further tilting in favor of Lotus.
yeah, and I honestly think that that was 100% advantage for the side of Lotus. Not only because of they obviously get 2 kills instead of 1, but the shutdown value that they got out of this win. The Kane was in such a bad spot. Just based on farm and the fact that he was behind in terms of experience as well, but getting that kill on the win was so massive, as well as getting the souls. He got quite a nice amount of souls out of that kill onto the win, and I feel like he should be. I'm not sure how far away he is from the transformation, but he shouldn't be that far away from the red cane.
Not sure how close he is either, but
He's backing now. Maybe we will know soon.
yeah, maybe he'll get it on this back. Well, we will have to see. And he's got the Gore
He's not.
Drinker. Nothing.
No, he's not transforming, but that means that he's potentially going to be red cane, right?
Yeah, there's the options are still open here, but obviously with all of the fighting up near the melee champions, it just seems pretty obvious at this point what's going to happen. So you did say that you liked it for this team composition. You liked them going either way. You still feeling that way? The way the game's shaped out so far?
Yeah, I feel like you already had enough damage as the. Oh wait,
Nah, things are fine. They're just going to walk it out
are
here.
you sure?
Yes.
When he's coming?
Oh, wait a minute. Gragas is on the wrong side of the map.
Yeah.
Here comes Snoop Dogg, 3 losing lane, trying to kite this one out, and will run
Just die
right
to
into
the
the
shield,
Zillion.
just die
But he
to the
gets
Zillion.
slowed. He can't die to the Zillion. If he gets slowed, Victor's going to be able to pick that one up.
Well, let's look at the bright side. They got Cloud Drake for that.
Nice.
Yeah, so
They might be able to find Tiny Asian Boy. Hold on. Engagement down here comes the ace in the hole. It will land, but now the Pantheon has shown up. The ultimate is going to land. Is going to whiff. Actually, Dunzi wasn't able to find a kill. It's a kill for Mario's. Drops trying to find a way out. Will be able to go over the wall. Babs trying to make their presence in this fight known. Going back and forth. Drops flashing over the wall. Flash out of Mario's. He's very low, but so is Drops. Is anybody going to be able to kill? Flashing forward is the Zillion, but unable to land the bomb. Lots of kills going everywhere, but still Lotus desperately holding on to their lead.
Yeah, so they lose Duncy there because Duncy is up dying. They also lose Gragas and don't get any kill backs. Overall, I would say favor much more going into the hands of BBU. They also get the Reef Herald from the with the Gwen. I don't know. I'm not sure where did they send that to. I think mid lane maybe.
Well,
And
I don't see anything down in mid lane. Did they just?
There's a lot of damage on it. Maybe it was the Herald that just took a couple of plates and not the whole turret.
Potentially, I honestly don't exactly know where it went. That's bad on us. But there's a lot of fighting going on, and I mean, regardless, it wasn't the first turret of the game. That honor went to Alistair on this Caitlyn.
Yeah, so turning back the gold in their favor. Oh, here comes Dancy.
Yep, and the entire squad is up here. Marios is going to be in a bad way very soon, but hasn't taken a whole lot of damage. Cast mists. However, it will be body slam. Drops in the area, looking to find the play here. Alistair
the move is
too far away. Here comes the ace in the hole. Boom! second kill of the game for Caitlyn. And just like that, gold leads finally over about 1,000 for the side of Lotus, and they're looking to bang down this top outer turret.
Yeah, so they needed the whole house to be thrown to get that kill, but they got it. And that's what matters. They get another lead. They are able to push into this turret as well. So extra gold value going into the pockets of BBU. And they will be able to rotate for the dragon coming in the next 2 minutes much more easily, thanks to the fact that the map is open in the side lanes and allowing for Tri losing lane to not be as pressured as he maybe would have been if the turrets were still up.
And not only that, they were able to defend the mid turret with the Corki teleport. So that is vital gold not in the pockets of VBU, although they did try to make the good macro play. Weren't able to make it work.
Yeah, they could have found that mid lane turret. That would have been so much value for BBU because it allows now for the jungle to be much more open for them, and the Pantheon and the Gwen may have found much more spaces to try and look for plays. Oh, Marius.
Oh, what is going on here? Marius going to be able to get out. The ultimate from the Seraphine will go wide. No encores here. This was a pretty bad song, but just taking stock of the game situation, 16 and a half minutes in, the goal lead hovering around 2K in favor of Lotus. But if you take a look at the side of Infusion, they've got a very scary scaling Victor and a Gwen, pretty healthy on the CS numbers for both.
Yeah, and even though the gold is in their favor, this is probably one of the strongest points in the game for the side of BBU, with some of the champions, Pantheon, the Misfortune that is opting into the lethality route. They are going to hit the strongest probably around this mark and the 25-minute mark. Those are probably the two strongest points. So them trying to play fight is going to be around this point that they will try and make that happen.
I feel like it's going to be a race to see if Gwen can get the Riftmaker before the Corki can get their mythic, and it looks like not sure who's going to get there first, but looks like Snoop Donk's a little closer. I bet on Snoop Donk. I think Snoop Donk's going to get it first.
Okay,
I haven't even looked at the gold totals yet.
I'll take Corki's side. I feel like just having a free forming mid lane on the side can probably be much more beneficial than a jungler.
And you know what? They both might have the gold, but it's actually more likely that Corki's going to go back to get it because of the package. But here comes a large engagement. Bullet time landed as Alistair was stunned up. And that is a kill going over to the Pantheon. Fourth kill of the game, and while down in CS, has certainly been around the map picking up kills.
Yeah, and getting punished trying to push a wave that you really didn't need to push at all. the wave was just going to crash into your turret, but get great punished by the side of BBU, utilizing the Pantheon ultimate really aggressively, utilizing the movement speed from the Cillian, and they didn't even use the Ghost by the Gwen, so getting a lot of value of that. Also to point out, drops his blue cane, so it didn't turn into red cane.
Wow. How about that?
It was the tier that gave it away.
Yeah. Here comes an engagement from Marios, who does get stunned up. Seraphine ultimate goes down, but only hits one because Gwen is immune. Snoop Donk, snip, snip, baby, doing a whole lot of damage, forcing drops off as well. Corki's poke not quite where it needs to be yet without that mythic. Doing a solid bit of damage, but nothing more. We see a very healthy Night Saw trying to start up the dragon. Will likely be zoning people away for this fight.
Yeah, they have already so much control. I think the dragon is dead. I don't think you will be able to force it.
Uh-oh, Night Saw flashes into that one. Mario's getting caught out, but now here comes the fight. Mario's pretty low. It looks like the teams are grouped up pretty well. Flash forward from that. Gragas not able to find a kill just yet. Lots of damage going down. Drops maybe trying to get in from the side, but won't be able to make anything happen. So the side of Infusion, they managed to take the Drake and get out of there, but Lotus, they're trying to bang down this mid turret.
Yeah, they are going to up into the turret. They tried to force that fight in a way that I'm not a fan, particularly 3 losing lane. The way that he tried to force that fight didn't really work out, and utilizing the ultimate so early on made that his re-engage wasn't as effective as it could potentially could have been. Now, looking for this Herald before the Baron spawns, I think they should be able to get it.
It looks like that will be a Rift Herald going to the side of Lotus. And let me tell you, while you may not have liked the fight out of 3 losing lanes, I kind of liked all the forcing that he tried to do because it forced the side of VBU to the bottom lane, and that just allowed Lotus to walk right in the mid lane and take the turret. So sure, you didn't get the dragon, but a little bit of extra gold, and now you're up 3 turrets to 1.
Yeah, that's the other side of the coin, right? Like, maybe the way of fighting didn't really net them kills, but he kind of forced them into a spot that it benefited the side of Lotus in the long run, and that's still a nice way of playing. I would just like to add to it, just
Yes.
don't what is called, don't use the cask as it did, but that's it. She got it
Sorry,
before Corky
I'm
then.
really excited. You see, the reason why I'm really excited is
Okay.
I love taking bets. I work for an online sports book here in the United States. So a little bit of my shtick is sometimes we throw a little bit of betting in whenever a player has a lot of kills early in the game. We try to see if they're going to go over or under a certain amount of kills. But
Yeah.
there hasn't been enough kills in this game to want to put one out like that. But I am happy to win that riff maker bet, so everybody knows I got the I know what's going on. I might be a play-by-play caster. I might just say, look at game, shout good, but I know a thing or two.
Yeah, I'm not the best at bets. That's why I never bet.
Yeah,
I'd
listen.
rather not
The
risk
best
it
thing to
that
do
much.
is just not spend your money.
Exactly.
Poke trying to be put down here by Lotus, but there's really nothing to fight over right now because the outer turrets are down and Lotus really hasn't gained a further foothold in the game yet, as the gold lead is still pretty tight and both teams are still on fairly even footing. What do you think is going to break this game open?
The next dragon fight seems like the most plausible way that I see them trying to break the game open, because it's something that I can see both teams wanting to fight for, unless there's a fight here.
Yeah, well, it might not necessarily break the game open, but it can certainly help or hurt as drops in the area to assist his Gragas. Doesn't know that Snoop Dunk was also waiting in the wings. Could have seen a heck of a 2v2, but both sides elect for the peace treaty and back off.
Yeah, if that 2v2 happens, I think I would be much more willing to say that Gwen and Pantheon win it than the Gragas and the Kane, because Kane is so far behind. Like, he's
Yeah,
getting towards that Manamune point, and at that point, I think that he's going to find the value that he wants. But 2 levels behind the Gwen is not something really good, really that you like to see from your jungler, right?
yeah. 22 minutes in, an assassin-based Kane has assassinated nobody.
Yeah. He got his kill was from one of the gangs towards the Pantheon, right? Like,
Yeah,
that's about it.
it was the
The
actually no,
Gwen kill.
first blood went over. Yeah, first blood went over to Gragas. So one of the kills up there went over
Yeah,
to
it was the
Kane.
Gwen killed after the Gwen
Yeah.
killed the Gragas, I feel like.
Yes. Yeah,
So
but that's it.
yeah, that your impact hasn't been that much, and at this point, I would expect to see the King just running around the map, utilizing the W to slow people out and try and kill them as fast as he can. Because if not, he doesn't really get much value or any value at all.
And that really speaks to the impressive vision from the side of VBU, as really it seems like they've been able to snuff out anything that this Kane has tried to do.
Yeah, and at this one, like, one thing that I think I felt to comment on from that previous fight that I think kind of where it links with the vision is that the bot side control over the river for the dragon fight was so well done by the side of BBU. They had complete control. Everyone was walking into place, and they were able to make the most out of that vision and take the dragon as quickly as they can.
Oh, here comes the Pantheon ultimate down from the Seraphine. Mario's trying to get in there.
Seraphine is in.
Bullet time will be able to get a kill.
Oh.
Marios will stay alive. 3 losing lane, trying to get in there. Tiny Asian boy was in the front line and goes down. Corky trying to package in the burn is so strong. Alistair does fall though because Nightsaw is untouched in the back of the fight. It's a 3 for 2 in favor of VBW,
Nightsaw?
and they're looking for more.
That's
Look at
a
how
good skill.
fast he goes. Will he be able to pick up the Corky? Chasing him down, trying to find a kill. The Corky putting out a lot of damage now. Finally has that mythic, but it looks like the dragon will be taken by VBU Infusion. Let me tell you, farming for 5 minutes and taking dragons, baby. That's the NA way.
Yeah, they have double TP though. Maybe they can get a kill at least.
Dragon.
Oh, the dragon is dead.
Oh, he's going for it, but now Babs is in the area. Nightsaw could be in a little bit of trouble. He's going to try to turn this one around. He puts down the gravity well. He's taking a lot of damage. Corky with a big one lined up, but elected not to pursue it any further.
Yeah, and the fight breaks into another dragon capture for the side of BBU. But I gotta say, that was such a good fight by Lotus. I really like how they played around that. They were able to control the Pantheon really well, and it allowed time for Babs and 3 losing lane to get into the fight. Because that fight started as a fight before, a 5v3 even, because the 3 losing lane was still getting to that fight. So the fact that they were able to survive for so long, make it out alive until a certain point, and even trade, I don't want to say positively, but trade in a way that it typically don't see in fights that are 5v3 or 5v4. It's actually positive for Lotus. But they did end up losing the dragon, so it's so point for the side of BBU.
And yeah, and if I was Lotus, I would be getting a little nervous right now. They have no heal cut on this team, and they are staring an Ocean Soul in the face.
At least they have their heals of their own, so they can kind of fight equally, right?
I don't know about that.
Kind of.
I mean,
Maybe.
okay, so you have Seraphine, right? And you've got the Moonstone Renewer, which,
Yeah.
sure, the Moonstone Renewer is going to pump out a lot of healing.
It's your own version of Ocean Soul.
Is it good enough is going to be the question, though. I'm not sure if it is.
Yeah, I think it's probably a high bet if I was going to say it. Like I don't think it's going to be comparable. But one of the good things that they have with the Seraphine is that she can build Putrefier, and she gives it to everyone. So it's going to find a lot of value.
Certainly will, but they will have to get that Putrefier between now and then, as we see Marios is really starting to put a whole lot of damage on the 3 losing lane. I don't care about your Fimbulwinter. I don't care about your Turbo Chem Tank. You are going to die. He throws the final spear right into the back of Gragas. It is a solo bolo for Marios. A reversal of fortune from what we saw last game.
Yeah, it's great to have the Black Cleaver now, because you actually can find value against this Gragas, and he isn't really building much armor, so you're just going to get rid of any bit of armor that he had, and then just be able to get on top of him. Tunisian boy. Oh, he failed.
Look at all that damage. Tiny Asian boy. Oh, what? Takes a rocket right to the back. Babs is going to get a pick there, and that's huge.
Ziga fly? You just needed to press R.
Yeah. As it turns out, just hit the R button, bro. Like, it's okay if it goes on cooldown. You don't want your AD carry to die there. You lose out on so much pressure.
Yeah, now they can look for... Yeah, they're looking for the Baron.
Yeah, Alistair's just hitting it over the wall. They're going to be completely safe.
Pantheon has ultimate, though, and I think everyone is expecting this to happen. Gragas is still not in area.
Mm-hmm. It is going to be a 5v4, though, once Tiny Asian Boy gets here. But they are going to pull off. Now this is a split fight. Pantheon going in on the top side, gets ulted, but doesn't care. Dunzy will fall. Snoop Dunk is trying to push forward, avoiding the traps deftly, taking a whole lot of damage, but will be able to back off, and it ends up being a 1-for-0 in favor of VBU. And now all of a sudden, they could start up the Baron if they want.
Can they, though? The poke is still really high for yeah, like they can still have so much poke by Babs. Babs is also reaching level 16, which means that the poke is going to be even better, and you still have your jungler up. So I think that it's not a necessary risk that the side of BBU needs to take. The thing is that Lotus did lose quite a good opportunity to try and force something to happen. They got the pick onto the AD carry, and I like the attempt for going for the Baron buff, but I feel like if you're going to do that, 3 losing lane needs to teleport, because if he's there for the fight, you can kill the Pantheon before he's able to utilize the E.
28 minutes in, down 5 kills. I am impressed that Lotus is still hanging on to a CS lead, or not a CS lead, but a gold lead.
Yeah.
I don't know for how much longer. It is up to about 1,000 right now, but it just feels like VBU, they have been in control for the last, I don't know, probably 10 minutes.
It feels like any play that they set their eyes on, it's going to work out. And having members that are so far ahead, like Snoop Dogg on the win, or Marius on the Pantheon, actually serves a good proposal. Oh, someone's speaking here.
Well, the Corki is going to TP, and that's a package down.
Yeah, the package, yeah.
The package is gone for this team fight. Nightsaw with a huge play there, and that could just be the fight right there. It's going to be hard for Lotus to make something happen.
They need to play around the poke of the Corki still, but yeah, the package being down is actually quite important. They need to be careful about Marius.
Oh, here comes the engagement. That Pantheon all going to land right on top of Alistair. The charms are going out. It's only going to hit 2 members, though. 3 losing lane, very low. Is going to have to try to back off. Tiny Asian Boy was using the bullet time, but will die in the Umbral Trespass. However, the ultimate from the Zillion was there. Mario's trying to re-engage back onto Dunzy, but it's a 4v2 on this side of the fight. Tiny Asian Boy will fall. Nightsaw, though, has to try to make something happen, but everybody is falling around him. No, they threw the fight. It's a 4-for-1 in favor of Lotus. A triple kill for this AD carry, and Alistair with a Pantheon in his face. The team playing around him. Huge kill there. They're going to take the Drake, preventing the Soul, and they've got their sights set on the Baron.
Okay, so you're the PvP, right? I kind of got lost in the chaos of the fight. How did Snoop Dogg die?
I don't know. It felt like that he was just pushing forward, and really, it just seemed like Nightsaw was not with the rest of the team, and they
Yeah.
lost a lot of power because of that.
Yeah, Naito wasn't really in position, and I really like I really like how BBU prepped that fight. They were all waiting in place, the immediate engage by the Pantheon, and even with the ultimate coming down, they were so many members separated. But just like so many members were separated from the side of Lotus, that happened as well for BBU. At some point, I think it either had to be the cast from 3 losing lane pushing Naito away, or the fear that Drops could have gotten on top of someone in the backline because Drops Naito kind of disappeared. The same happened with Siga fight that was forced to flash away and he couldn't be a part of the fight once again. And when Tiny Asian Boy and Marius were alone in the fight because they were kind of left there, it was easier for the side of Lotus to respond and kill everyone. And I'm still trying to wrap my head where did Snoop Dogg go and where did Naito go, because those two simply I didn't saw how they died. Well, I
I
did saw Naito,
saw
but I
more
didn't saw
like
the way.
Knight didn't see, bro, because I had no idea where he was in that fight. Look at the damage this Corky puts out. And just when you think they're out of it, Lotus, they managed to find a way back into it with a massive fight. And things could be very poor for VBU Infusion here. Snoop Dogg trying to make something happen here in a 1v1 versus Gragas, but doesn't quite have the damage. Drops
He's
coming
here.
into the area. You do not want to give away any kills at this point. And let me tell you, one thing that we talked about in the pregame was Tiny Asian Boy and Sigify versus Alistair and Dunzi. And there were worries that if Tiny Asian Boy wasn't able to get it going, not sure how much power VBU would have behind them. He was so integral to their wins last week. And this is what happens when your AD carry, your star player that you sort of play around, is unable to get things going.
Yeah, if he doesn't get a lot of value, it can just be like we're seeing, kind of detrimental for your team. And even though Naito had a lot of damage, like if you're relying on your mid lane or on your one player to be able to carry, is Pantheon coming? No, Pantheon is okay. I was hearing ping, so I was scared. But if you cannot rely on one of your carries to carry the game, and you have to rely completely on only one, that can be much difficult and it can be much more risky.
Lotus banging down on the turrets.
Wait,
Drops, gets a little too aggressive and gets blown up. That is massive. Snoop Dogg picking that one up, and now they're going to try to engage a fight. The root is onto Snoop Dogg, but here comes the ultimate. However, Marios goes right into a root. Nightsaw trying to make something happen, but Babs over the wall with the rockets picking up a kill. Here comes Ace in the hole, but he gets canceled due to the Victor Storm getting the silence off. But oh my god, so much damage coming out of Babs here. They were 0-0-0 for the longest time, and now from downtown, just pounding onto VBU Infusion. The base has been cracked. The inhibitor is down. There's a healthy wave, and it is a 4v3. The bullet time. Make sure the wave isn't too healthy anymore. Snoop Dogg trying to push forward, make something happen as VBU desperately trying to clear this wave. They need to steer clear of this Corky poke.
Yeah, they have to disengage. The Caitlyn also goes away, which means that this is actually a good chance for BBU to look for a fight. They will try and continue, to force it. But yeah, they disengage. They're able to run away. They get the top lane inhibitor. Oh, he didn't get it.
He's going to get out of there. Gragas will body slam himself
splash,
over the
yeah.
wall. They are in
I
hot
guess.
pursuit. We will see if they're able to make anything happen, but here comes Babs from the side.
Oh.
See if they're able to do a lot of damage, and yes, they are. Nightsaw getting taken pretty low
Snoop
there.
Dogg.
Snoop Dogg trying to find a kill onto Alistar here. Will not find 3 losing lane. The body slam timed perfectly, and there's a kill. And now Babs, Nightsaw, out of position. The ultimate will go down. The Umbral Trespass is there. Will try to find him into that gravity well. Does not. Drops getting exhausted. We'll have to go over the wall. But Alistair and Babs, their poke is way too strong. This game was close, and Lotus has broken it wide open. 3 losing lane. Trying to come from behind. Bang down low and trying to get everybody all out of sorts. And the push continues as Corky backs and is now teleporting in.
He has package, right?
It looks like that. Looks like a package to me.
Yeah, it looks quite big, so
Comes an
can't say
engagement.
much.
Well, no, it's not a package. Never mind. But
who cares?
No, the cask into Seraphine, and that could be all she wrote. Signify the last one standing. Snoop Dogg up in 8. Second inhibitor going down and a fresh wave coming through. Nightsaw up in 15. I don't think they've got enough time. The first Nexus
Can they
turret
do this?
has fallen. The second Nexus
Oh,
turret is
great
under siege.
cancel.
Snoop Dogg in the middle of 5 members of the enemy team. Signify trying to do what they can to help him out. The ultimate onto Snoop Dogg, and they don't wait it out in time, but it doesn't matter.
Nightsaw is out.
The second Nexus turret is down, and the Nexus is exposed. Nightsaw is here, but the jungler is not. The numbers are far too strong.
That's
and
it.
Team Lotus comes through in a tight game between two of the top teams, smacks VBU around, and shows why they should be at the top of the leaderboards. They're 2-0.
Yeah, and what a series, in all honesty, because even though BBU lost 2-0, it was really, really close to O's. They had opportunities in both games, they had goal leads in both games, but Lotus saw the windows of opportunity better than that of BBU, and when they had the chance, they took it, and they won the game through that. Huge credit to the carries of Lotus, because I feel like they stepped up so massively this game. The last game, I felt like Dunsey and Drills in lane did quite a lot, but this game, Babs and Alistar, with their damage, their positioning, their impact in teamfights was so huge that I don't think it can be understated.
Yeah, Babs late in the game, once they got that what's that item called? I can't remember. The mythic item that Corky builds. Why can't I remember? The Ludens. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once he got his Ludens, he was off to the races. He had an empty scoreline 0-0-0, had a bunch of CS, and then all of a sudden these rockets were doing so much damage to these guys. VBU could not withstand the onslaught. And realistically speaking, it seems like they really needed that Ocean Soul, but after that lost fight of the Dragon where everybody was split up, it just fell apart for them.
Yeah, that, like, there's times where you see games like this where the teams are close and just that one fight can decide everything. It doesn't have to be a late game fight. It doesn't have to be a super long fight. It just needs to be a fight that between two teams that are really close can decide everything from the game. Momentum, objective control, a gold advantage. It just that one fight that affected everything, and it was that dragon fight. And I said this during the game, and I stand by this. That was a good fight by BBU. That was a great way to start the fight. It looked like it was going to be an amazing fight for them, and I believed it as well the moment I saw it. I was like, I legitimately, when I saw the fight happening, I thought we're going to game 3 because I thought that they were going to win that fight. But the separation from the members, the fact that Naitso didn't find an impact in that fight, Snoop Dogg dying so in a point where I didn't see it, kind of made that fight go obviously in favor of Lotus, and it meant that the game was going to be in favor of them because it was not only fight, it was the Dragon getting captured by them, it was the Baron getting captured by them, and it was a lead that was finally going to go much more heavily into the favor of Lotus.
These two teams had gone at each other constantly in scrims. They had faced off against each other in the past in other leagues. Lotus getting the better of VBU 2-0 this time around. And I have to ask this question. Which do you think is more likely? That Lotus is the best team in the league, or that VBU is not as good as we gave them credit for?
Well, I did put them fourth, so I think they're
I
around
put them third. I definitely think they're a top 4 team.
they're around the
I think,
level I expected, if I'm honest.
right. I think the general consensus is that they're definitely a top 4 team. But after this showing, is Lotus that much better?
The thing is, I don't
Or
think they're the better team. They're the best team. I'm still not sold on Lotus.
you're not sold on Lotus? I don't know, man. After looking at this game, how could you not be? I mean, they were obviously these games were pretty close, but game 1, they did a pretty solid job and they played to their win cons, and then in game 2 they were behind and they managed to make things happen. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
like,
I think it's more likely that Lotus is the best team in the league rather than VBU is a little better than we gave them credit for, because it's hard to judge. Obviously, it's the second week, and if,
yeah,
we think
we're
that
still
Lotus,
two. That's
yeah, if we think that Lotus is that good, then VBU just ran into a buzzsaw, right?
Yeah, it's not like if it's like you're pointing out Lotus being the best team essentially, then it's not shameful losing to them, and it's not like they are below our expectations in power standards. But at the same time, I don't think Lotus it's the best team, and I'm not sure if I should say this when they just won, but I don't think they are the best team because we did see a lot of fallacies in both games, and I think that if there's a better team, they are going to be exploited and they are going to be punished.
Point them out. What did you
the
see that
early
you didn't
games in
like?
both games, the early games in both games were, I don't want to say I not terrible, but they were really lackluster. They lost a few. They lost a bit, good amount of fights. In the second game, particularly, much more so. We saw a huge deficit in the jungle. We saw an important deficit beginning to show in the top laners because Marius was already solo killing Gragas as well. And I feel like if the team fight doesn't go as haywire as it is, we're speaking about a game 3. So I'm not yet sold on Lotus, if I'm honest.
I wasn't either. I had them number 1 coming into the season, and after last week where they had a 2-1 victory, they looked lackadaisical
Yeah,
in the first game. So I feel like this is a kind of team that might drop games just from being unfocused, but they really locked down and they were laser focused for this game tonight. Lotus improving to 2-0, VBU Infusion falling to 1-1, but there are still 5 games left in the season. So if you're 1-1, you're really not in the worst spot.
that is true. Like, you still have time. You can correct yourselves. And realistically, what matters most, and I feel this almost in any tournament setup, is if you can get to playoffs, anything can happen. So as long as you still have a will, you can get to there.
Yep, that's really how it goes in sports, and that's how it goes in esports.
Yep.
Get you to the dance, and you see what happens afterward. That being said, that is it for us tonight. Unfortunately, we were only able to have one stream. A couple of people had some other obligations to handle, but you know what? That's okay. I'm very glad that you elected to spend time with us here tonight. If you want to see more Blue Otter League action, we got the Platinum League running tomorrow night and the Gold League running on what is today? Today's Monday, right? So Wednesday night. Both of those will be at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure you tune in and catch those games. We got a bevy of wonderful casters, wonderful teams, and some bloodthirsty action all slated for you. But that is it for us tonight. TDS, any parting words before we depart?
I was right. I tipped Lotus and they won, so nice.
Yeah. I thought Lotus was going to win 2-0. After I did my casting notes, I was like, you know what? I'm going to say 2-1. So I ended up being a little bit off there, but I'll take it in the pocket of having the proper guess. But thank you all for being with us here tonight. For myself, TDS, our beautiful producer, Pop Tart Deluxe, thank you so much for everything that you have done for us tonight. You did absolutely amazing. Producers need love too. And the rest of the Blue Otter League family, thank you all very much for joining us here tonight. And we hope to see you tomorrow night for some Platinum League action. But if that ain't your thing, we'll see you next week for some Diamond League action. Have a great night.